Okay, cool. Things are working now. Camera's coming on. Shout outs are there. Great. I think we're all set. I think we're ready to go. Need some music. And things are working again. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Browser's working. Let's go to localhost 3000. We should have our application running. Looking good. We have some stuff set up. So where we left off last time was we have an application built on Solid.js or SolidStart. Most of that is not super especially relevant. And we have it telling us jokes. We have it saying, tell me a joke about Stony Eagle. I submit that, and then it's pending. It's waiting on OpenAI right now, making that request. It's happening somewhere in there. Still, pending is false. Okay. And we get nothing back. Cool. That's because we should be getting something back. We'll get the response. But anyway, one of the problems that happened last time was this joke completion thing was not working. Neither is my application. Awesome. Okay, let's check this network request. We're going to send this payload. We're going to get the... Okay, there we go. That's what I was expecting. Basically, the problem was we were getting this response, and then we were getting a text where the actual prompt, the OpenAI prompt, or the OpenAI response was, what did the... And that's where we ended the application last time. So the problem with this is obviously that's not a whole joke. And the reason is because I had set max tokens to 7. So OpenAI has this concept of tokens, where tokens are essentially tokens correspond to how much you pay, and tokens represent the number of characters that are going to be... That's not necessarily true. Tokens are basically the quantity of content that the API is going to consume, both in how much you send it, because it has to parse that information, and how much it sends back to you, or how much it generates. Tokens are kind of a loosey-goosey figure. They don't actually explain exactly what a token is, except that one token roughly represents like 4 characters, if that makes sense. So anyway, the problem was I was saying, use a maximum of 7 tokens, which according to that math is about 28 characters. And in the combination of what my prompt was and what my response was, we ran out of tokens. So if I change this to something like 200, and I say, tell me a joke about Stony Eagle, and I submit this, we're going to get that request go out. We're going to get a response back right away, and it's to say, what did the Stony Eagle say when it saw a plane flying overhead? Eagle eye. Not very good. But anyway, that was the problem that happened last time. Let's get this response figured out before we move on with what I want to actually work on today. So we're going to send... What are we going to send? We're not going to send the response as it is. We're going to send the data.choices, the first item. We're going to send the text. Yeah, don't quit your day job. Exactly. So we're gonna send, and I'm not gonna do this in like a very accurate way or very full-featured way. I'm just gonna get straight to the happy path. So we've got data is this object. I want data.results at index of 0.text. So data dot results. So results? No, it should be choices, shouldn't it? Choices, yeah. Data.choices. data.choices at index of 0 dot text, and then I want to do a string replace of these new line characters. I think what I'm... how do I want to do this? We get 2 new line characters, which is 4 characters. And then we get a new line character that gives us the answer. And then we get escaped double quotes. I think what I'm going to do is say, I'm just going to return that text. And I wish I would have kept that, dang it. All right, give me the crappy joke again. Cool, that's what we get as a response. That's not quite what I had in mind. And I think because this, yeah, so that's the problem. Not the problem. Because SolidJS or SolidStart here is returning a string of text now, it's actually not going to handle the, it's not going to return that as JSON. So when I submit this, I'm going to get a lie. I'm going to tell you a lie. What, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened there. Probably JavaScript encountered a bug and couldn't parse this. But okay, all right, never mind. Forget what I just said. So we're going to return that data. We're going to get that string. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to do a very lame caching where I'm actually just going to return this here because at the for the time being, let's see, I don't want that. I want to return that. Okay, I want that backslash there though. No. ES lint disable next line. Cool. Oh, the things I have to do for this. ESLint, no useless escape. Okay. No useless escape. I love that I'm spending so much time fixing this one little thing, this one little red squiggly, when I have this entire red squiggly here. Whatever. So what I want here is I want to leave those in because this is essentially I'm like caching the request. What up, B1? You know what? Hey, I got some new. Did you notice the new layout with the stream? Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little show off another thing that I got going on here that I did today. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh no, I did it. Yeah, there we go. Pretty cool, right? Working on it. Anyway, what am I trying to do? Oh yeah, so I basically like don't want to just keep on prompting the same thing right now. I got my test. I got my test response. Yeah, check out. See, the little emoji things are going on too. I know. Honestly, if I can set it up, anyone can do it. You can do it. But yeah, basically storing like a cache version of the response because right now we have this working. I'm not interested in expanding this any further. We will do that eventually at some point where we start modifying the prompts and massaging them. Not today though. So for today, we can go ahead and save some money and just do the cache version, do whatever work we need to do to modify what's going on here. And now if I submit that, I should get a response right away. Cool, we do get what we had before. That's what I would expect. Let's put that onto the page. We're getting the request here, and then we're gonna say something like, request dot pending. So the request is not pending. Okay, I'm gonna show off something in Solid that I'm not sure how I feel about. I kind of am on the fence on. But we're gonna go from Solid.js. We're gonna import show and not when, just show. Show is a kind of weird component that takes show as a component. It takes content and it takes a parameter called when. And we're going to show this basically here. Show the contents of this container when this information matches. I don't know if I love it. We'll see. We'll do both versions. So I want to show when it's not pending and we have a result. And oops, and request dot result is not null, not equal null. Okay, cool. And then what we'll do here is actually just do request dot result. Cool. Throw that in there. We'll submit this. All right, we get question. What does Stony Eagle say? And then we get the answer, and that's fine. That is the text. We do have the escape characters that we don't have to worry about. Curious here what happens. That just gets pushed onto the page. That makes sense because it's not wrapped in anything. I think no. Oh, W, no? Okay. I think I want to put that in a paragraph. Something like that. So this is something, let's see what both of these, let's just do a bunch of things at the same time. This is the equivalent of JSX, what would look like this. Something like this. Let's do not request, and that would probably be wrapped. That would probably actually go in a variable, and then you do something like that. So which one do we like better? To be honest, I like how this one looks better, but I don't think that this is particularly necessary. And I wonder if this actually impacts the like adds logic to the ultimate bundle. Whereas, you know, this logic is going to exist regardless. It's copied across both of them, so that's going to have to be there. Do I need an extra component for that? I don't know. Does it look better? Yes. I really wish that it had something like Vue or Svelte or Angular where there's like a directive that I could have that's like, hey, if this condition, show this thing. Okay, cool. Both those work the same. We have paragraphs now. That's great. What I kind of want to do is, how do we do this? We have some extra white space in there. It looks more useful when you use the fallback prop too. Yeah, okay. So essentially what you have is fallback, and then, yeah, but the issue I have with the fallback prop, especially in the docs, is all of the documentation shows something like this, like p loading ... or something like that, right? The problem I have with the fallback is I don't love the condition here. I don't love the layout of the condition. This is like a purely personal or it's not. It's so personal. No, this is like a purely subjective preference, but I'm basically putting the two logics here, and I have a separation of the location of the logic for when to show and what to show, and then I have the else condition basically. Like this is the if, and then the else, and then the contents of the if that makes sense. Whereas this is like, I also don't love the pure JSX version, which would essentially be the equivalent of, gosh, Nugget, you're so annoying. This or this equals undefined or whatever, and this would be loading ... Okay, compare these two. Well, no. That logic is not correct. That logic is correct. Okay, so compare these two to this. Yeah, I like this better, but let's take a moment and compare what this would look like in view. It would be v-if equals, and then we do this guy equals that, and okay, hold on, my dog's calling me. Right. Dude, what do you want? Come on. All right. Let's get you set up. Dog stream time. Yeah, Brent, you're on it. I don't have that set up yet. I haven't figured out how to do custom commands, but let's see if I can get this. Oh, you know what? Why is the chat? Oh, the chat's working. Okay. Why is this camera not working? Still not working. That's me. Okay, let's add video capture existing. Oh, okay, that's stupid. Create new. Okay, and that's gonna be this guy, and it's not gonna work because what's wrong with this thing? It's on. It says it's on. Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe. No, I have no idea why it's not working. Anyway, not gonna mess with that. Whatever. No, yeah, I checked if it was the layer below. You use Comfy.js for comments. Works real nice. Yeah, I'm trying something new. You have to go back to affiliate to get channel points. No, not going back to affiliate. If you want to support my channel, so yeah, affiliate is nice because of the points or whatever, and I wish I could offer that to people. But I really don't want to support Twitch. I don't think that they're good for supporting content creators. Like, I think if you want to support me, go and GitHub sponsor the tools that I'm using, like SolidJS or whatever else, or subscribe to my OnlyFans. Really, you gotta go out now? He just comes in for the treats. He's such a butt. Okay, what were we doing? Yeah, so okay, across all of these options that effectively do the same thing, I like this one the best. All right, come here. Come here. Okay, there he is. You want to talk to the microphone? No, we're camera shy now. Gosh, you're so freaking cute. Come here. And normally I have to... Yeah, can't open it. There we go. Normally I have to break these into smaller pieces because you're such a little guy, but I don't have two hands, so you just get the whole... Ow! You just get the whole thing. There you go. There you go. Okay, let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go outside. There you go. It's like the freaking mafia. I gotta pay him off every day to leave me alone. What was I saying? Yeah, I mean, as far as these go, I want to explore. I think Solid does have the concept of directives, so I want to see if I can just do this, where I can add some logic that creates a directive. If Solid finds a directive on an element, it will, mine would be like, hey, run the logic, like give me the value of the directive, if it's the logic, or convert it to Boolean and whatever. And if it's there, show the element, and if not, don't show it. I think it'd be hard to do that with a v-else also, but basically I could accomplish something that would look something like this. I don't know if I can do this whole thing because that would require logic at the compiler stage. But I think I could do something that would look like this. I don't know if that's much better. Yeah, maybe this is better after that. That's a lot of annoying stuff. No, what I would do is convert this to a variable and then just do if this and if not this. I don't know. We'll get there. That's not for today. That is not for today. We're going to stick with the vShow, or the show component with no fallback. And we're just going to listen to me be a little minge about it. Okay, cool. So we've got some solid stuff. We're showing the data. One thing I would kind of like to do is figure out, once I submit it, I feel like I should be doing something with these new line characters. I think that's what I want to do. Let's go, let's do this. Let's do that dot slice from, assuming there's always going to be these characters. Let's go slice from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, from 4. Did I get that right? Not quite. Not quite. There you go, question. And then we want to do a replace on this character. And I don't know how to do that off the top of my head. JS replace JReplace. Replace n in JavaScript. R.replace. Should be good. Whitespace pre-wrap. Yeah, you might be right there. I think I actually don't want to replace this, because I think what's going on here is that's going to actually represent HTML if I wanted to do a replace, right? Because I would need a BR or a paragraph. So let's see, Kevin, what you got. Whitespace pre-wrap. There you go. Cool. All right, next thing I want to do also is I am going to make my life a little bit easier with some styling options here. I am going to reach for Tailwind just because that's built in, but hopefully we don't have to write too much Tailwind. So we've got that. Let's get Tailwind installed into this project. Let's go Tailwind solid. We are at the stage of here, npm install here. Let's put that in a new thing. Pappy, install all that stuff. Init Tailwind. We are going to copy this. I don't know if that's, yeah, that created Tailwind file. Actually, I just want to copy this part. Okay. We need these things. And that's going to go in the root file, which we had nothing. I think I can close that. I think I need to stop and restart this. And that should work. We'll see. Reload that. Doesn't look like anything has changed, but I do have some styles in there. So let's see. I also need to see wind white space, please. This is the thing I hate about Tailwind. White space pre-wrap. Okay, we can close that. We can go here. Kevin, you know what? That was a nice call. You know what you get? Little shout out action. That's right. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, don't need you. Don't need the input stuff. What I need to do is do the pre-wrap. So this should be class equals whitespace pre-wrap. Let's try that one more time. Looks like we got it. Okay, Tailwind is installed and working. Thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate that. Great. Let's do a little bit of work on my layout. I think I'm gonna just add a little bit of stuff here. Let's see, file routes. Can I do a class here? Class equals P4. Nope, doesn't look like it. That didn't do anything. Awesome. Well, that's okay. We'll do a div class equals padding 4. Gonna break my stuff. All right. How about you? There you go. A little bit of padding. We can see the application a little better. That's fine. It's doesn't conform to. No, let's do. You know what? Max width of 2XL, and then all right. Let's do maybe like 3XL. Really ought to do like burp burp, something like this. 3XL, 4XL. We'll do some margin in the X direction auto. And max width. Is that not working? That's not working. What did I do wrong? Max width. Why didn't anyone tell me? There you go. Cool. That's good enough. Okay, other thing I want to do is start Building out, you broke it. Yeah, okay, someone did tell me. Other thing I want to do is, one of the reasons I wanted to use Tailwind here is because there's a lot of tools available. I like to have some flexibility enough to control it, and I want to choose a CSS, a UI kit that I still have all the control of the markup, and I still have all the control of the styles to some degree through Tailwind. But I also want to have some pre-built things so I don't have to do too much work. I did some research on a whole bunch of different Tailwind UI like pre-built component things. There's a lot of websites that have Tailwind templates that are pre-built and you can copy and paste them, and they work really nicely. Some of them are like community generated, and so you can just like search for whatever you're looking for. What I'm really looking for here though is a coherent, consistent design across my entire application, and I found that this one worked the best as far as having many examples or templates to choose from while also being like a consistent UI, coherent. So let's get started. I don't want to install it necessarily because I don't think I want to use like import their components, and also all of their components are like supported for, what is it, React, Vue, and HTML. What I want is just to copy them. So anyway, what they have here is a bunch of components. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look for things like, do they have forms, basic forms, input? Great, looks good. Let's go to the HTML. Let's copy that. Let's go back to our HTML. Let's go to our input component that we built, and let's start switching out some of this stuff. I also did some work that I want to replace sort of the logic that I have here. Been working on some of this stuff in my free time anyway, so. Okay, so what we'll have is the default is this guy, right? Okay, let's do const shared classes equals, and let's just see how much of this is duplicated. Practically all of it. In fact, all of it is. Cool. I'm going to copy that, get rid of both of that. We're going to call that shared classes. We're going to pull that into its own thing. Great, that makes it easier to work with. We have here, actually I don't really need that. Let me do shared classes. I think that's all I need. We have value, we have class, we have class on the text area, and we can get rid of this. Quite resourceful, isn't it? It's closing time on the East Coast, gotta run. All right, well, yeah, I mean, there should be a recording. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for catching my little errors. So I'll keep working on this, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see how this is looking. Cool. Already, I mean, looking a little bit better, I guess. It's all subjective, right? Doesn't really matter. I just want something. Yeah, see that? The emoji things is working. Oh yeah, Brant, I don't know if you saw that, but throw some emojis in here. Where's that? I think it should do something. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. I don't know about emoticons. Oh no, okay, I guess they work. Yeah. Or emotes. Cool. Very cool. Having fun with it. Okay, that's so good. That's great. Love it. Okay, let's do the same with the button, right? Let's get a button that looks good. Button is always something we need. Where is it? Button, button, button. Okay, let's go. Sure, let's start with the base HTML. Let's do this guy. Let's get rid of that. Actually, I should probably leave that open. Oops, preline. Yeah, the problem with private browsing is it never remembers where you've been. Okay, let's go here. I'm gonna put that there for now. I'm gonna copy and paste that. Get rid of that. Save, close. This is going to be just the button. Oops. Just the button. We'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of all of this. This is going to be children. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. HTML. Button attributes for an HTML button element, and this is going to be button attributes. I don't think we're going to need to give it anything else, not at the moment anyway. That's going to be the buttons. We'll get rid of that. Don't need that. Don't need an ID. Don't need that. Don't know if I need, I do need the type actually. We'll get rid of that. We'll say that the type is going to default to button. And then we'll get all of the rest of the attributes on there. Attributes, there we go. I think I got that right. Oh, we need children. We need attributes.children. Cool. And the type here is type. Cool. Let's put that out here. I'm actually going to call this btn because I don't like it to conflict with HTML names, even though input does. And then input copy, we're going to, input copy, we are going to rename this to button.jsx. We'll save that, we'll close that, and we will import that here. Replace the button here with our button component. It's complaining because no, don't do that. You know what? Don't use unicorn. ESLint. Unicorn is dumb. It's probably a good idea not to. I just don't. It's been so annoying. Okay, unicorn, prevent abbreviations off. Thank you. Cool. Save. Awesome. There's our form with our button. We have some sort of error. Failed to load button.jsx. Does the file exist? Button.jsx. Index. Cannot find module. btn.jsx. Am I not looking at it right now? /button.jsx. I must have missed something. Cool. We have our inputs. We have our button. It's kind of nice that they have their own hover states. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Cool. So what do we need next? What do I need next? I think I can get rid of this pending thing. So let's go here. Let's get rid of this. We have our jokes app talking to OpenAI. We have our jokes app talking to OpenAI. We need to pass this a type of submit. Thank you. And now we can submit the form and we get, cool, we get our jokes. Great. Talking to OpenAI, we're kind of cheating that right now. But what we want to do, or what I want to do, is start doing transcripts. And this is going to be kind of a long journey that fortunately I've done in my free time. So let me pull up. Got to sign in to GitHub. Give me just a minute. I also have to sign in. Okay. Okay, let's see. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Gonna grab this guy, put that in there. Gonna open this thing up, open up source, and we're gonna do some interesting stuff here. Routes. Oh no, did I not push my code up? Shoot, all right, well that's okay. We're gonna, oh no, I did, it's in the wrong place. I want routes and services. Yes, there it is, cool. So on this page, what we're doing is we want to build out this home action that is running this SolidJS server action. So what I want to do right now is actually see code OpenAI. I want to make sure, let's see, do I have Python 3 installed? Yes, I do. Why do I need Python 3? Because I want to create a transcription service. And OpenAI does transcription, but OpenAI, what I want to do is actually use their Whisper, which I can use through their API, I believe, although I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get it to actually, like, I couldn't upload an actual file. But I can use their service, or they actually offer an open source version of Whisper. So we're going to do that instead, install it on my server that's running my application, and that's going to have several benefits. One, it's not going to cost me money except for the compute of my server. Two, it's going to reduce the latency because I don't have to go to OpenAI to do a transcription. And what else? I don't know. But let's see if, I don't think that worked last time. So I'm going to try this one. Let's see if I can get this to work. So we're going to pip install. And this might take a little while. In the meantime, I'm going to make a recording. Do I have a voice recorder? Voice recorder app. Okay, someone give me something to say, because I want to prove that we're going to do live transcriptions, or we're going to do some transcription that is like not on a file that I've pre-decided. What do we think? What do you want me to say? Anything you want. Not anything you want. I don't like, oh, yeah, that's a bad one. But hopefully what we'll do is maybe Yeah, we'll try this. Okay. I don't like pineapples on my pizza. Little 6-second thing. I'm going to record that one more time because I took a while. Okay, let's delete that. Okay. I don't like pineapples on my pizza. Cool. 2-second clip. Great. I want to see. Where's that saved? Okay, cool. I don't know where that's being saved, but we'll open this file location. I'm going to copy that and move it into my project folder. M4A. Okay. I'm going to take that. I'm going to move it into my project, which is here somewhere. Ah, come on. Into my project. OpenAI. There we go. Okay, so we should see it in here now somewhere. There, where is it? PQR, there it is, recording. Cool, recording.m4a. I guess, yeah. I don't know what an M4A file is, but what I need to do now is wait for OpenAI or Whisper to actually install. Because everything kind of depends on you. Whisper. It's like the sound of a revolution. It's Whisper. Okay, and I wonder if... I wonder why this isn't working. You know what? Actually, I don't know if I need to do this because I think this was one of the problems I was having. That's right, and this is how I got around it. I was never able to get this to work. This is dumb. But what we can do is start working with Python in our project. So what I'm going to do is build a service called transcription. I'm going to put an index.js file in there. I'm also going to put in here I'm going to put like a whisper.python file. I know, inside of a JavaScript file. How wild is that? So we're going to import Whisper here, and we're going to say, and now I'm just going to do some copy and paste here. Okay, we're going to do this. The file in is going to be, let's take this recording and let's move this up into this transcription. Yes, move it, please. Thank you. We're going to say take recording.m4a, which I don't even know if that's going to work. And we're going to call this file. So, you did kind of work. And you were kind of useless too. Don't like you. We're going to cd into source, into services, into transcription. We're going to use Python 3 on the .whisper.py file, and it's going to complain. Partially initialized module Whisper has no attribute load module. Load import. Yeah, dumb. Can't call this Whisper because it's going to try and import itself. So we're going to say transcribe, which is probably a better name for it anyway, because that's the name of the service, not like it allows me to use a different tool with the same service name. Okay, let's see. Let's try that one more time. Can't open file Whisper, no such file or directory, of course, because I renamed it. Hello. There you go. And then this is going to take a little while because I think it needs to import. No, it's going to failed without raising an exception for a while. Okay. Initialization of internal fail without raising an exception. So it's complaining just out of this. I can put the music back on, by the way. It's going to complain just from that one line, isn't it? Yeah. Import whisper. Unfortunately, I'm not a Python expert. Import internal fail without raising exception. What if I do the same thing with sudo? No module named whisper. You know what? I may need to look at that one more time. Let's go GitHub. No, let's go GitHub. Okay. Let's go GitHub OpenAI whisper. Or let me see. Introducing whisper, view code, view model card, real transcript, products, developers, documentation. Oh, is whisper in here? Whisper. No, models. Okay, whisper. There we go. It's in beta. Let's see. Source. Okay. Man, I did this the other day. That's the most annoying thing about dev. Open source whisper. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Python usage. Transcription can also be performed with Python. Okay, I don't know if I'm just missing the dependencies. So let's see if we can go through this. And this is really annoying. I'm going to try that. We are going to try maybe this one. I also wonder if this is an issue because I'm inside of WSL. I'm really hoping it's not, because I wouldn't know how to get around that. So we're going to try leaving it at that. And in the meantime, I'm going to show off what I'm planning on doing anyway. So let's just say we have this transcription thing, and we're going to say print you're in Python land now, baby. So what I was going to get to is once we get this working, there's a couple things that I want to be able to do, and that is call this Python script from Node. So we're going to say something like, I think what I'm going to do is switch over to here. We're gonna cd into source services transcription, and then I want to call node with on index.js. Not going to do anything yet. Essentially what I want to do is provide a function here that's going to call this Python code. So how do we do that? We're going to import spawn from node child process. Thank you. I'm going to consult my other code too. And what this is going to do is we're also no, this is fine. I'm going to export. Well, we'll do that later. We're going to create a function that takes a doesn't do anything right yet, and it's going to return a new promise. Man, I don't even want to do this part yet. What I want to do, what I want to show off is const. What does it say? Command is going to equal spawn, and this is going to call a list of commands. So we're going to call Python 3, which is the same thing that we called. Basically, the same thing that I want to do here is say Python 3 on transcribe.py. This is what I want to accomplish, but I want to call this from node. So I'm going to copy this command and basically pass it in here. Whoops. Here. Not there. So let's do this. Function that calls command, and then what do we need? This is going to spawn a child process, which is going to write to the disk, right? So let's do that. I'm just going to like execute that right away so that we have a script that runs. So this is going to say console log calling Python from node. We're gonna get out of the solid world for a moment. Calling Python from node, nothing actually happens. Although I think it did actually happen. So what we need here is we need to add some things to the command. We need to add some event listeners to the command. So we're gonna say when the command experiences std out, which is when it writes something to the disk, we're gonna say cool that dot on data, and that's going to be a function that's going to do something. We're gonna say console log data, right? And that's going to give us some data. So in theory, if this writes to disk, we should see something, and we sure do. We see a buffer. Buffer is a string of binary information stored in memory. So what we need to do with that is actually convert it to a string. So if we say data.toString, we should see something a little bit more familiar. And there we go. You're in Python land now, baby. Cool. Problem is that string could be way too long. So what we want to do is actually say const chunks is going to equal an array, and instead of logging it, we're going to say chunks.push the data, and that's going to be a buffer. And at the point that, because what could happen is it could run several, it could log several things. We're going to say, if we do that twice, for example, yeah, so what happens here actually? If we do that several times, I wonder what it's going to do. Yeah, it logs them both. Okay, that might be a decent approach actually, because then as the data comes in, we basically log it. I don't mind that. The other approach was going to be store everything, and then once the entire script is done running, then we can log something. So I'll show how to do that anyway. We're going to say command dot standard error, because this can receive an error as well. So when this receives data, this is actually going to look very much the same. Do that, and then when the command is done running, so command on close. We're going to do something when the command is finished. And let's see, this is going to say, what do I want to do here? On close something. I think I'm going to stick with sort of the original plan that I had. We're going to have some chunks. We're going to have some error chunks. We are going to push any error data to these chunks, and then we're going to say if error chunks dot length, and we're going to say throw new error. And then we need this to be the actual text, which is going to be a buffer dot concat the error chunks. And now that they're concated, we can say to string. Okay, otherwise we can basically do the same thing, but with a console log. Console log, and that's going to be the actual chunks. So let's keep that off for now. Cool. This is complaining because it doesn't have a type definition. And that type is going to be type of buffer array, which is the same as here. Cool. Pretty much working. This part is still running. All right, we're just gonna let that do its thing, hopefully. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is figure out how I'm gonna actually run this script against different commands, right? Basically, I'm gonna say, I want to be able to transcribe a service. To create a transcription service, I need to be able to receive a file and parse that file, or pass, like do something with that file. So let's work on that next. Let's go to Twitch chat and see what y'all think. Should I answer the question, how can I pass a file into this Python script from Node? Or should I answer the question, how do I pass a file from the browser into SolidStart? Do we want to start on, which end do we want to start on? Why does my stream say I've only been on for 6 minutes? That's weird. Okay, well, I'm gonna say the part that I want to work on right now is maybe back on the front end some. So yeah, I want to be able to send these files. So we're gonna say we don't really need that as much. I think what I want to do is put a file input on there. So let's go here. Let's go home action. We're on the home page. We want to put another input in here. We want to say this input is going to actually be a type. Of file. Oh, we already had that. No wonder. Cool. Label, prompt. Let's go audio file. This is going to be audio. This is going to be a type of file. Browser shows it. It's looking okay. I mean, sure, fine. Why not? You can click anywhere in there. It's going to open up that. One thing I want to do is actually just start putting, placing a synthetic file on there so that I don't have to manually select a file every time the page loads. So we're going to go with on mount. And we're going to say when this component mounts, it's going to create this function, and we're going to say document query selector. We're going to grab the input of type equals file, and then what are we going to do? I'm going to say const input equals that, and then we're going to say if there's not an input, return. This part I'm just going to leave very abbreviated because it's temporary data. We're not going to keep it around forever. But we're going to say const, what is it? A transfer thing. New const t equals new transfer data transfer const data transfer equals that dt dot what is it, append items, get data, files, equals, and then we're going to do a new file where we pass in the contents of the file. Content, we pass in, what is this, the file name, temp.txt, and then we can pass in the options, which include the type, which we don't really need. Okay. Files because it's a read-only property. Okay, so we need to do dt dot append. I thought it was set data. Actually, it's set data as a specific data. Okay, format and data. Oh, how do I do this? I forget. I think I might have this in my code though somewhere. Okay, got it. Data transfer, and what we need is the data transfer dot items dot add. That's what I wanted, and I basically need to add a new file. So what we're gonna do is add this new file. Part. Oh, right. This I think needs to be an array. There we go. And then what we do is we say the input dot files equals data transfer dot files. And when we have that out of the way, we broke everything. No, we didn't. Cool. There it is. We have an audio, or we have a temporary text file that we created in memory that we've also assigned to this input. Which means I can receive that on the back end. So we've got files, we're sending the data. We need to now be able to pull this data from the back end. We need to grab the form data. So const form data is going to equal, or no, I think we can do const audio, oops, audio equals form dot get, and we can pass it the name of the input that we have, and then we can console.log the audio. And by doing that, we should be able to see the file is there, we submit it, we should see in the network request the payload includes the audio as binary, which is really cool, and also kind of weird because SolidJS basically sets every single form to be a multi-part form data, which we can see here. On form, we have the enc type set to application. No. That's weird. So although despite the form being this default form, it's like modifying the request. So if so every request is sent over as multi-part form data. That's weird, but that's how Solid works, which is actually kind of nice, because although multi-part form data is harder to deal with, it's nice having one syntax. Okay, cool. Successfully installed OpenAI Whisper. Cool. So let's see if we can run our Python transcribe. Yeah, of course. Let's try our Python script really quick. We're done with being in Python land. We want to test this. Now let's see what it does. System error. Awesome. Okay, we have Whisper installed. It's not working for some reason though. I'll solve that later, but we have it installed, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so what I wanted to do was check this file submission. Right. We just submit that, we get the response, and we get null. Perfect. And that is, why is that? Because we're looking for something called audio, and the input that we're sending is called audio, console, network, payload, audio, form, name. There you go. Audio. Okay, cool. Let's try submitting that one more time, and let's see what we get. Cool, we get a file, size 7, which is correct. The name is temp.txt, which is correct. And now we need to parse this file. Oh, so this is going to be kind of a tough part too. What I need to do to parse this file. What I need to do to parse this file is a giant pain in the butt. It's going to be a giant pain in the butt because this file is being read into memory, and I basically need to hijack how SolidJS treats this. So let's see. How do I do this again? Man, that's a bummer that that's not working. Like if I call node index.js, calling node from Python, really annoying. transcribe pi line to import whisper. All right, let me try something else. Python. What if can I pip install? I try this one more time. Where is it? OpenAI whisper. Come on, baby. Do the thing. Julie, do the thing. Let's try this, switch in the music. That's going to take a little while. See if we can get that to work. Okay, let's see if we can get this guy to work too. We need to do a number of things here. Okay, what I need to do is something kind of annoying. Temp directory. Parts. That's right. Okay, so the problem is SolidJS parses the entire request body into memory before it gives you, well, when it returns this form, when it creates this form, or when you get that data. And I need to essentially run code before that happens and read the body of the request as a stream as it's coming in, not once it has completed. So this is going to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of logic here, but we're going to try and do it. So I'm going to create another service here called I wonder if this should actually be like a middleware. I'm going to call this a service because this might be something that I integrate with a third party. So right now this is going to represent the service that I use to receive file uploads that is either going to place them on disk or potentially in like a storage provider. So this is going to export export function. And what's this going to do? This is going to be a function that takes a request. So it's going to take the request object, and I think we have context.request. Yeah, so we want to get the request object from Solid, and it's going to have to parse the headers and get the information on the body of the request. So it's going to say content type going to equal request, and this is going to be, let's see, I'm going to put some typings on this. Param request. Let's say, what is this going to be? Well, I've got some code over here that I can copy and paste. Okay, so that's a request object. So that should give me request.headers.get content type. And content type is going to be, yeah, that. And let's just say console log content type. So what I'm going to have here is from services, right? We need index.js. This is going to take my uploads. This is going to import star. I see the problem. This is going to export everything as uploads. There we go. That's the name of the service. We're going to import OpenAI. We're going to import the uploads. And down here in our home action, we're going to call uploads with the context.request. Uploads dot it's an unnamed function, no wonder. This is going to be called what's it going to be called? Like upload service or something like that. No, parse multi-part request. Parse multi-part request. Cool. Then we can take that. We can do uploads, parse multi-part request. It's going to pass the request object, which should be a multi-part request, in there. It's going to complain about a whole bunch of stuff, but then it's going to get over it and just start running. And we're going to submit that, and the request is going to work. And we are going to get the data that contains multi-part form data and the boundary. Cool. So from that, we can grab two things. We're going to grab equals the content type dot split, and we're going to split on this other code that I already have written, because why am I going to rewrite that? On this regular expression. And this is basically going to look for this boundary so that we can find what the boundary is and the actual type of the request. That's going to give us the type and the boundary. Why do we need that? Because we need to use it in Aids library. So we'll do a little bit of logic here and say if there's not a request.body, or there's not boundary, or the type does not equal multi-part form data, then we can, I don't know, return for now. Okay, next thing's next is we actually have to parse the body of the request as a stream. So fortunately, once again, there is a library we can reach for. So the one that I found that seems to work, or at least is being used by the Remix team. Cool. Does that mean we have Whisper pip installed? Is it gonna work? What's the problem here? You know, I realized maybe the problem is the actual file type. Let me see something. Record voice. I don't like pineapple on my pizza. Cool, we'll save that. I'll open that. That needs to move. Need to move that into my project. Let's go code. Source, services, transcription, cool. Okay, we've got that in here now. I wonder if this one I could just like rename MP3. No, it's a different type of file. I bet that's the problem. I hope that's the problem. It's not the problem. Fuck. That's so annoying. I'll have to look into that. Yo. Okay, next thing's next. Let's see, let's do this. You're annoying. Next thing, we gotta get this file thing working. All right, we'll come back to that. I'll see if I can figure that out off stream. Take a transcription off. Button type, you're good to go for now. And let's see. Right, I need this thing. We're gonna go over here. Install this multi-part parser that can give us the stream information, and we go into import from and we're gonna get stream multi-part. Cool. Okay, from that we can say const what is it, form data equals new form data object, and then const parts equals stream multipart, and this needs the body of the request, which is at request.body, and it needs the boundary. So let's see what we've got here with this parts. Get this, we submit that, we check here, we go back here. Nope, something's up. Submit that information, come back here. There we go, we have an object which is the async generator. I also need to modify this so it's no longer logging the audio. We have an async generator, which means we have to walk through each of those parts. So we can say const for await const part of parts. This now needs to be an async function. And what we can do is say, what's it? Console log part. And hopefully that is Okay, this needs to be type is going to be an async generator with a file part. So this should be a file part, which means this part should have cool content type, data, all the good stuff. Okay, let's see where we are. We submit this information. We have each of the parts. This looks right. Cool. What we basically need to do is say what is this? Oh, this update required. Okay, that's fine. What do I want to do first? Basically, we have one that is a file, and we have one that is not. So I'm going to say if it's not a file, we'll kind of deal with that first. Okay, cool. If not part.file name, or if part.file name is null, then we do something here. If it's undefined, what do we do? We're going to say const chunks. We're going to do this buffer thing again. Chunks is going to equal that. And we're going to say, what is it? We have another async iterator here in data. I'm going to say await for const chunk of part.data. Chunk is a number. That's weird. Expected token. Why is that unexpected? Oh, duh. For wait. Haha. That's weird that chunk is a number. But we're basically going to say chunks.push chunk, and then once this is all done, we can say return. No. If chunks.length, then we're going to say that the form data dot append, and we're going to add the contents of this form data, which is going to be a buffer dot concat. It's going to concat the chunks of the data, and it's going to convert that to string. Oh, that's the name. Wait. What? Oh, yeah, no, that's the name. I need to do the part.name. There we go. The name is value, chunks, number is not assigned with value, unit array, chunks. See, that's kind of weird. But this should actually be type of. Is it buffer or is it, what is it? don't know. I guess we can just say like type of chunk, please. Chunk. Ah. All right, we'll see. No, we'll say yeah, we'll do the type of, and then we'll do object.prototype dot toString.call on the chunk. Let's see. Submit that, and we're gonna get a couple of errors. No, we're gonna get undefined. Really? That doesn't make sense. If we don't have a file, we come in here, and we should come in here. It should at least be console log not a file. What's going on? Something froze there. That was the problem. Okay, let's try this. We're going to get that. We're going to submit that data. We are going to get, yeah, not a file, and it is a uint8 array. All right. Something, yeah, it's an array of uint8 arrays. I don't know why this is saying that it's a chunk or a number, but okay. Let's see if I can fix this. Well, type. I hate this syntax. This might be the problem. No, that's not the problem. It's kind of the problem, but then I lose everything. No, this is... What are you complaining about now? Consular initialized to 0 if the requested number of bytes could not be allocated, an exception is raised. Type number may be raised because neither type sufficiently overlaps the other. If this is intentional, convert the expression to unknown first. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Did I fix it? No. Number and number. All right, well, no reason worrying about it too much. Cool. So we've got that. Let's see. With that in mind, we should be able to get the prompt. Let's see what the prompt is. Let's see if we got that right. Page not found. Page not found. Cool. Something is broken. Prompt has already been declared. Yep. Prompt value. Submit that, and here we get the prompt value. Tell me a joke about Stony Eagle. Great. As it should be. And I feel like if we stream this correctly, then we should be able to change the order of things by changing the order here. Submit that, and we see, no, we don't. Oh, no, that makes sense, duh, because the order of when they get logged to the console depends on this order here. Do that, and then I get the form data. Not sure. I think that's a good sign, though. I think that is a good sign. Anyway, we're reconstituting the contents of this. I don't think I want to parse this information. I think what I want is, instead of parsing this form, I want const form to equal this. So I'm going to remove this form, not use that, and we're going to try and get it this way. Prompt. Okay. There we go. Let's get rid of you, and let's see, console log prompt. See if it still works now that we have the validation logic happening elsewhere. It does not. Okay. Expected object received a promise. That makes sense because this should be await. So we get an error. We get can't use in operator to search for. I don't think this is actually returning anything. Yep, there you go. Form data. We are appending this information, but we are not returning it. There we go. Return form data. This is now a promise that returns form data or undefined. This is form data or undefined. I think it makes sense that this should always return form data. So this should actually throw. New error, not multi-part form data. Something like that. Okay, so now this function is a promise that always returns form data. So we know that this is going to be a form data object, which means I think we can go ahead and turn this back on. Leave that audio out of it. We'll leave that in. Why not? Submit that. Request is working again. Cool. And we get not a file. We get the form data. We get the form data object. that contains the prompt and tell me a story about a joke about Stony Eagle, and then we get null for the audio file, which is correct because we are not actually doing anything. If it is an audio file, so else file type. Okay, if we're dealing with a file type, okay, if we're dealing with file type, we basically want to create a function that can write to disk here. So we want to pass it to something called upload handler, and we're going to pass the part to it. Right? So we're going to have a function called, actually we're going to call it like node upload handler. Something like that. And this is going to expect to take a part. Hey, what the heck? That's annoying. Param is going to be a type. This is going to be a part. And this is going to be a file part. So what I want to do here call that a file part. We're going to do type def of that. Call it file part. Cool. That is now a file part. It's going to do something with it. How are we doing on time? Just about done. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do, we have a file. We basically need to append the new file details from here. So we're going to say const file data is going to equal await that, because that's going to be an async operation. Gonna be something like that, and then what we're gonna do is something like this. If we have file data null, then we're going to append the part name with the file data. Something like that. Yeah. So what this needs to do is this actually needs to return an object that represents a file. And we're not going to have that, so this is where... Is anyone even watching right now? Because this part's actually kind of interesting and worth mentioning, or worth just something weird to talk about. I don't know if anyone's watching. So I'm actually just going to do a little bit of copy paste here. I need a class. I'm going to get rid of you. No, we'll leave that in. That's fine. I need to do all this stuff. Base name. Some of this stuff needs to come from here. Stat sync. Okay, not sure I need you. You're lurking. Okay, let me get through this code and then like walk through something that's really weird and worth kind of mentioning. Stat sync. Okay, so what I'm going to do is return a new node file on disk. This takes like a path. And this takes a type, which is we're going to say audio MP3. Or actually, we can say part dot content type. We're not actually going to write to disk, so this is fine. I think this is fine. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, let's see if I get this. Let's see if I got this. That's going to create another file on disk. Submit that. We don't get any errors, and we've got cool node file on disk. Awesome. That's what I wanted. All right, so Brent, you here for a moment? So check this out. Let's see, type is going to be part dot content type. Sure. So check this out. What I got is, I know this part is going to be kind of confusing, but essentially what I have is a function here that's going to parse a request, right? So I'm going to take this the request object that's coming in from Solid, and I'm going to pass it to this parse multi-part request function. And what this is going to do is basically figure out the content type of the request and grab each part as a stream of data from the body of the request. So as that request opens up and the data is being sent over the wire, we have this library that's receiving that as a stream of data, and it's going to give us back an async iterator. The async iterator. Async iterable. There you go. It's going to give us an async iterable that we can basically loop over or create some logic that looks like it's what is it? This logic looks like it's procedural, but it's actually asynchronous. So essentially we have this async iterable that has a bunch of parts, and as those parts come in, we're going to receive each one of those parts and be able to run some logic on it. So this is when this first part comes in, we grab it. When the next part comes in, we run this. When the next part comes in, it runs through this, right? So we grab this part, and this part represents a chunk of data that's being sent with that request. So one of the chunks of the streams of data. Well, technically, it's a part, and inside of the part is the chunks. So we check if it's not a file first, and if it's not a file, we basically read those chunks of data into memory and store that information, eventually concatenate it. It's going to be a string because all data is sent as a string that way, and then we add it to this form data that we create, right? So as the request is receiving chunks of data or streams of data, for the ones that are not files, it's just going to read those into memory and then append that information to this form data. If it is a file, what it's going to do is grab or pass that chunk of data from the stream into this upload handler. I should probably rename this to like node upload stream handler. And what this is going to do is I don't know if I should be awaiting that, but I think that's fine. It's going to expect to receive one little chunk of that data, and it's going to return an object that gives us some information back. So this is going to be an object, right? And this object should be appended to the form as well. And here's the weird thing, is when you are dealing with form data and you append something like an object, form data, how does the request return? So it would resolve, then the form data would stream the object updates. How does the request return? Okay, so basically we grab the form data from this parser. It gives us a form data object. We can do some stuff with the form data object. We can grab information off the form data object and like log it, and then we can return some static information. So I'm not sure if I understand your question correctly, but essentially what I would like to do is for anything that is not a file, put it onto that form data over here, store it onto this form data so that I have the key value pair like any form data, right? So grab the data of prompt, I should get a string that says, tell me a funny joke about Stone Eagle or whatever. When I'm dealing with a file, I don't want it like, a string is not enough to work with. I want to deal with an object that tells me information about that file, right? Name, path, size, content type, things like that. The problem is if I return an object, and here I have, the name and the type that I'm sending back, that I'm appending to this form data, and what I'm getting back here in audio should be that object. What I actually get is it gets converted to a string called object. And this is the case on any form data. Like in the browser, you can go, this is the weird thing. Let's say const fd equals new form data, and then we can say fd dot append file is going to be, data one, whatever, and then we can say fd dot get file. We get object. Unfortunate if you like working with objects. But there's a weird little trick to returning an object there. And that is if you actually return a file. So you can do something like new file, right? That's something that exists. That doesn't exist in Node, but you can kind of fake it. So what I've got up here is I have a new class called node file on disk. And this implements files. So it's intended to behave the same. Now this part doesn't actually matter. That's only for the type definitions, for like the type hints and the red squigglies or whatever. But keep in mind that this comment doesn't actually do anything functionally. But what I can do is create a class that's going to be a constructor that looks and behaves like a file and does a lot of the same things and has a lot of the same properties. And the key thing here, let's see. Let me see what the actual key thing here is. We're gonna turn that off, turn that off. We're gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn this part off. And we might turn some of this stuff off so the constructor doesn't do anything. Turn the size off. File path equals yo, whatever. Type equals hey, her. So what we can do is, instead of returning an object, we can return this custom class, or we can essentially append this custom class to our form data. And let's see, if I submit this and we log it, we still get object. So what is the problem? There's like some magic combination that I still don't quite know off the top of my head. I don't think it's this, but it could be. Nope, still object. So let's try the size. Not the size. Oh, you know what it is? I think I remember, actually. It's not size. I think it's this array buffer thing. There you go. So weird. I think, let's see. Let's do some of that. Let's test this out. Find the bare minimum. Okay, so that's the bare minimum. And we still get this node file on disk. Great. Okay, so the weird thing about this is in order to return some sort of object in a form data, you have to create a class that basically overrides what this toString tag does and pretends to be a file. So it says, hey, I know I'm a class, I know I'm not actually a file, but I'm going to go ahead and pretend, like when you ask me what type I am, I'm going to tell you I'm a file. And you also need to provide this array buffer, which, to be honest, I can't really explain. It probably doesn't even need to do anything, I assume. And then all of a sudden you can deal with objects. And so when I have this, right, if I have this object, I can have an object that has things assigned to it when it's created or whatever, right? It doesn't have to be like a static thing. So now we get a node file on disk that has the path, the type, and this other information. Pretty weird, right? I had to learn that the hard way. I had to dig through a lot of Remix.js docs and then some MDN like web fundamental docs. I don't know. Yeah, yes, it was a fun one to figure out. This whole process of like, how the freak do I like make this stuff work? So this stuff is interesting. I have a blog post that I'm kind of putting together on it. that's like a deep dive research, like how did I stumble across this problem and how did I find the solution. But the real interesting thing here is what they're doing actually kind of makes sense. So I have lived in a world, mostly like a Node.js world on the server. And for me, multi-part form data is pretty easy. It's like a solved problem because Node provides an event listener system. Like you can do the request.on data or whatever. And as the request receives data, it can just parse it and like handle the multi-part form data. That means you can use libraries that already exist in Node, right? And I'm over here saying, well, my Remix app, my SolidJS app, they're both running on Node. Why can't I use these libraries in these tools? And the answer is that these tools are meant to run on multiple platforms. So they don't actually surface things that run on like the Node.js underlying system. What they do instead is provide an API through those async iterables that will respond and pass the chunks of data to whatever you need as they're coming in. Or in my case, they actually don't do that. Like Remix is the one that I learned this Web3 parser, this create multi-part stream or stream multi-part function, right? This is the one that takes the underlying request object. And this means that it can work across any JavaScript environment. So now we're not just worried about Node and code that works across Node frameworks. We're talking about JavaScript and things that work across JavaScript runtimes. Edge Compute, Bun, Dino, probably not the browser, but so yeah, abstractions on top of abstractions, kind of hard, kind of annoying, but building at these low-level things allows us to create more interoperable code. So yeah, the idea here is I'll basically have a function that can work across any runtime, and then I'll have some library code specific to the runtime that I'm on. So this is going to be like, I'll have a node, what is this? Yeah, I'll have the parser, the multi-part parser for any runtime, and then I'll have the unique upload handler for Node or Bun or Dino or wherever it's running. We'll see. Anyway, that's as far as the stream's gonna go today. And I have this mic just like right in my face. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for lurking. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, I'll catch you next week, huh? I think we got pretty far. We didn't get the Python stuff working. That's annoying. That's really annoying. So hopefully I can figure that out. Maybe next time. All right, I'll catch you